Hello, welcome to Only Stupid Answers, and we're going to be doing our spoiler-filled review of Young Justice on DC Universe, specifically Season 3, Episodes 10 through 13. We're talking about exceptional human beings, another freak, nightmare monkeys, and true heroes. And guess what, gang? You can actually get this early by joining us on patreon.com/onlystupidanswers. You can click up here, right here at the beginning of the episode. There's a card that literally just popped up. It's pretty cool. If I remember to put it right there, it will be there regardless. But if I did it right, it would have popped up.
Yeah,
it would have been
right
really
then.
cool. Would have been real cool.
What are you going to do to help yourself remember that? You know what? This guy could show up on Young Justice.
That'd be really cool.
Because literally everybody else has.
Kenan Kong, it'd be real cool. Or Kong Kenan, because last names come first.
Yes.
That's I learned that from, like everybody else, I learned that in the new Superman comics.
So since this is a spoiler review, let's go through these episodes. We start off with Exceptional Human Beings, which follows Batman's covert team as they go to Santa Prisca to kind of like investigate more of the League of Shadows mystery that's going on.
They're working with the League of Shadows are being controlled specifically by the light now, and we get to learn that Deathstroke is a part of the light.
This is Deathstroke, and so the new situation is that Deathstroke is now a member of the Light, which is basically this show's version of the Legion of Doom.
The Light's pretty cool.
The Light is pretty cool, and then Lady Shiva, who's a favorite character of mine, is now filling his role of the Light's enforcers.
And that's Scandal right there in this scene. This is
Scandal. But they're not referring to her as Scandal. They're referring to her as
Cassandra.
There we go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's another great character. If you guys haven't read Gail Simone's run on the Secret Six, Scandal is a part of that. She has an amazing relationship with Bane. So I would check that out. She's a very cool character.
But in this episode, we also get to see Batman's covert team, like you said. And can I just say really quick, I think I get a little bored when the main three show up on the show.
Superman or Wonder Woman and Batman.
Just because it's like, I want to see everybody else. Like, this show is for them.
Maybe because I am who I am. I wouldn't mind if the show gave us a little more Superman. But like Batman, it's like, I've had enough Batman in my life. I get it.
To be fair, also, you got like 3 shows that's like animated shows that are like Superman. And like when it comes to like Miss Martian, there's this. And
Exactly. But this is cool because this show continues to do an amazing job with characters that normally I don't care about. One of those characters, Metamorpho. Mm-hmm. Seeing him here, I am bummed because one of the cool parts of Metamorpho is his kind of like cheeky personality. We don't really get, because it's covert mission, not a lot of talking. But we do get to see like his power set is amazing.
Yeah, not only does he have all the powers of Plastic Man, but also he can fit, like his molecular composition fully changes.
Yes.
Crazy. That's also gross.
Mm-hmm.
And they do nerf him just a little bit by saying that he's constantly in pain.
Yeah, it's like when he said that, I was like, I guess you got to give him something. I guess there's the one thing.
He fully turns into like, because they keep him like smooth, and because animating, that's got to be way easier too.
Also, it looks cool. This is the first time I've looked at Metamorpho like, oh man, the Metamorpho looks cool.
And when he goes full like geodes sticking out of his sternum or whatever, like that's scary. He looks like a monster. Like a lot of people in classic like transformation tale where it's not like fully like pretty, like he's supposed to look ugly, but whenever I look at him, I'm like, no, you just kind of look like a weird color wheel. Like I don't get it. In this, I was like, yeah, you look like a mess. Yeah. You look like a full mess.
Yeah.
And the whole episode's just like quiet. And I like that aspect where it's like, no, this is meant to feel like a real covert mission. There's no music.
Yeah.
You have to sit in this tension. You have to sit in this
until Bane shows up. And Bane is voiced by Danny Trejo, which is a lot of fun. And he makes a point that he's no longer using Venom because he was using it as a crutch, which is cool. And they've explored that in the comics as well.
Yeah, he's still scary. He's still fully scary.
Yeah.
Deathstroke's really cool. Lady Shiva's very cool. And the episode's just mainly to show us where we're at with the rest of the teens.
Yeah.
The teens that have been taken by the light. And guess what? It's not going.
It's not great.
Well, it's not good. But I can't wait to see Katana and Metamorpho get more screen time because they're going to.
Because in the main advertising for it, it's like they're a part with the two heroes we have been spending time with, like Halo and Geoforce and stuff like that. So it looks like they will be used more often, which also makes sense because they're part of the traditional Outsiders lineup.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I really enjoyed this episode, but I also really enjoyed the following episode, Another Freak, because we get a full introduction to Vic Stone.
Yeah, he shows up a little bit in Exceptional Human Beings.
You get like a radio play of one of his games or something.
Yeah, his games, and you see his dad, and of course it's the classic like, "Hey, Dad, you gonna show up to the game?" And he's like, "I definitely will," even though he's clearly distracted by something else. And you get introduced to that picture of him was holding a father box, which is the apocalyptic version of the mother box.
Cool way to differentiate it too. Like there's father box, mother box, father box. They can basically do the same thing. They're both sentient, but the father box is a little scarier.
Yeah, it's a little scarier. And he's working with the Justice League. And so I believe it's in the last episode, Except for Human Beings, that Vic is approached by a recruiter and all that stuff. So at the beginning of Another Freak, he goes and visits his dad. And it was just, I don't know about you, but like he and his dad have a shouting match. And this is the first time, this whole scenario, it's the first time I've actually cared about Victor Stone outside of being Cyborg. Mm-hmm. And when he goes to leave, there's a bunch of teases, classic, like keep cutting to this one cord that keeps fritzing. And it goes out, and when Vic sees the cord pop out, he looks at his dad, and he's just like, "Dad?" And it was just one of those, for some reason, it was so human. It was such a human reaction that I was like, and then the explosion happens, I'm like, "Oh my God."
Yeah, because he's a kid.
Yeah.
It
hurts.
They've done this scenario a lot, like in the Justice League animated movies and like in the comics and whatnot. And I liked this interpretation of why Victor is mad. Also, just try to count how many times Victor screams. Like he's a yeller. He likes yelling, which is fine. But I actually liked his reasoning. He's like, because they tried to hammer this home. I just thought this specific episode did a really good job of explaining it. It's like, he's not dumb and he's not a jock. He is athletic and he's worked extremely hard and he's intelligent.
Yeah.
He's just not, he's not what his dad wants. And
exactly.
It's like,
it's not where his dad's energy is focused, which sucks.
It really sucks.
Yeah.
And I like that this specific episode, it's like, Victor doesn't know what to do. Like, he's fully capable of being his own human being, but he wants his dad to be a part of his life and be proud of him.
Especially when the impression you get is he's worked so hard at this stuff so that his dad will notice. And on the one hand, you do on some level, like when the Justice League calls you from space and gives you technology from the most dangerous aliens in the entire universe. Football games seem small potatoes, but it's like, but it's not the dad. You're the dad.
You're
Come
the dad,
on, man.
and you're not. This isn't the first time.
Yeah,
and this is the first time the Justice League, I feel like, has really given you your magic box.
At least if you can't show up the game, at least take a second when your son's there, look him in the eye and be like, "Man, you did really good. I'm really proud of you. I'm dealing with this crazy apocalyptic technology, which is possibly world ending, but I'm going to take a second and be like, hey, man, attaboy. You know what I mean?
Treat him like a human being.
Yeah, man. And so when he gets blown up, and then we talked about this a little bit in our Super TV episode. If you were wondering if the show is skewing more adult, when you see what's happened to Vic. Mm-hmm. Also, the transformation sequence where the chest unit comes in and it starts beating with the heart was really just. I was in it. I found it gripping. I was like, I can't believe from Justice League New 52 through the new Justice League movie of you trying to say, hey, this is Vic's a big deal. He's a character you should care about. Justice League level. This is the first time I've really been like, shit, man, what's going on with this kid?
Yeah, he's going through it.
Yeah.
He's going through it, and he can't control his own body, and that's one of the most it's one of the most interesting aspects that sometimes people don't have enough time to tell that story.
Yeah, but I wish I enjoyed the Justice League movie. I wish for Cyborg they could have tapped more into this, because I think it would have made his character significantly richer.
The synopsis for Another Freak, which I really like because I want to talk about the side story happening at the same time, is it's the first day of school for Violet, Harper, and Forager, and the last day for a different freak. And it's like, oh, yeah, it is. His life's over. Yeah. But also we have this fun asset of Violet Harper. Violet, a.k.a. Halo, gets to choose her last name.
She chooses Harper. And I had to look. In the comics, Halo's name is Violet Harper.
Jeez.
There are legitimately that many Harpers in the DC universe. That's crazy.
And Bug gets his name Bug.
Yeah.
Forager gets Bug.
With 2 G's.
With 2 G's.
In case you were wondering.
With 2 G's. And it's like, you don't have to say that. He's like, thank God, I thought that's what you did.
And the character that tells him that is Harper Row, which I had to, even though she's a more recent character, I had to look her up to remember. She was introduced in Scott Snyder's run as another Batman sidekick.
She is.
He doesn't have enough.
What I was about to say, she's like the tech sidekick to Tim Drake, but Tim Drake's the tech sidekick, so he's the IT to the IT person.
Yeah, I'm kind of hoping Harper Row just gets to be their friends in school and doesn't have to be a Batman sidekick in this version of the story. But she's great in this because it's cool to have a character. Because to be fair, I mean, high schoolers are mean to begin with, but to be fair, they are acting so weird. Especially Bug. It's just being, if you're just going to a normal day of school and these two show up, it's like, what's happening?
And Violet's like, oh yeah, I feel like I have like a stomach flu. I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna go around you.
I'm gonna be honest. I had a moment of like, we're not gonna do like period story on this show, right? Like, thankfully that wasn't. I guess she was sensing Vic and what he was going through, which makes sense once we find out more about her story that she would sense the father box, I guess.
Yeah.
But like
we find out who she is, which is interesting. She's like, I don't feel like I think it was Gabrielle.
Gabrielle.
So she's like, I don't feel like that person. And at first I was like, wonder why she's trying to run away from that so much. But I appreciated that like they hammered home. It's like, no, she's a mother box.
Yeah, she's part mother box. She's part the original person, Gabrielle, and she's basically a new person made up of the two components. And also, in this episode, it cemented that like Halo is my favorite character this season. Halo is the Blue Beetle of this season.
Indigo, having the indigo light that she can boom tube anywhere she wants. It's
nuts.
That's so cool.
I have a bad feeling that they're going to have to do something negative to her, like kill her off by the end of the season, just because she's so powerful.
Oh yeah,
or she's going to transcend into some extra dimensional thing. You know what I mean? Because she's just so crazy powerful.
I like how the show does the work because I get why you waited on Cyborg. You could have done it earlier because Apocalypse and stuff's been in the show for a while.
Yeah.
But if you're doing a Dark Side season, that's when you can have Cyborg. I like that Jeff Johns. I like that addition that makes him like deeply ingrained in everything big happening in DC.
Yeah.
So, and his look, I like. So DC Comics basically made it so that he's just a head with some lungs and a heart, and everything else is metal. This, it's like, no, there's a lot of human parts in there that probably are going to get like rewritten.
You think the metal parts are going to keep taking over? Yeah. That's a bummer.
Yeah, it's a bummer because, I mean, also if we go in a fight, he's got to be reinforced. Half of it's goopy metal human parts, and the rest is like reinforced father box magic metals.
Yeah,
you're gonna need some other reinforcement.
Yeah, I like their characterization. I will say I'm not the biggest fan of grumpy Cyborg. Hopefully this version kind of finds the more fun, because that's something I like from Teen Titans, is that he's fun. You know what I mean? So hopefully I do get why he'd be a little grumpy right now, especially since every once in a while a murder robot takes over his body, which is actually a great setup for Grid if they ever decide to do that, because you've already got your in to that. But I liked the introduction. I liked all that. I liked all his high school stuff. It was cool having Harper Row kind of excusing Bug and just loving Bug and Violet and their weirdness. Like, that's cool. I like this episode a lot.
Mm-hmm. And then moving on to Nightmare Monkeys, I think was, even though this Cyborg episode was like so good, Nightmare Monkeys is my favorite Beast Boy thing I've ever read or watched. Period. I think it's so interesting that not only did it expand his lore, it really cemented his position in this world and as a character, period, and did the craziest, darkest joke I've ever seen a show like this do.
It's so funny because it's one of my favorite in-jokes they do, and you kind of told me about it before I saw it. You just laid hints at it.
Yeah.
But this version of, it's interesting because this version of Beast Boy felt like he'd kind of been backburnered. Like, I kind of assumed that he's not going to be a part of the season.
Which is okay.
Which is fine because there's so many characters. Mm-hmm. But he ends up really mattering. By the way they depict his abilities, that his clothes becomes like a collar on the animal, use that more. Other things, that's so cool. It's so visually interesting. Anyway, him going through his mind, we find out this version did have a Doom Patrol, but maybe don't hold your breath on seeing them on the show. But the way they do it is by making a Teen Titans Go thing, which also feels like a very Teen Titans Go joke. It feels like just the way the show, Teen Titans Go just takes over the show for a minute.
It's the voice cast. It's Terra Strong, and you're getting everybody in there doing their voices.
Fun note, Greg Sipes from Teen Titans Go also voices Beast Boy here, which I think is great because when I think Beast Boy, I hear Greg Sipes' voice. And he also voiced Michelangelo in a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle show.
It's a good choice.
I like his voice, you know? Anyway.
He's got a very good cartoon voice. And this exploration of what his origin is, not just like Doom Patrol, like that whole like DIE. Yeah. That got stuck in my head for a while. We're not going to make it. It's like, wait, no. It's like, we're not going to make it. We got to go, though. We got, like, Robot Man like running. He's like, we're not gonna make it, but we guess we gotta go. It's like, no, you don't have to.
Doom's in our name.
Doom's in our name.
And Mento's an asshole.
Yeah, I don't know who that is.
He's traditionally part of the Doom Patrol. The way that making him have a relationship with Rita Farr is great. He's the least interesting Doom Patrol member to me, so making him kind of like
the weasel.
The weasel asshole. It's like, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, go for it.
And he's now like, is he taking advantage of Beast Boy? Is he trying to make up for what happened with Rita? It's like, I don't know.
Also, are Beast Boy's abilities magic? Because he's got that conversation with the monkey. I'm like, that was the moment I was like, wait, what's happening right now?
I loved it because it was like, no, I picked you. It's like, I don't know, man. I think they kind of...
I loved it too. I'm not sure I understood it.
That's fair. And that we get some more answers with the good goggles. We're just waiting to see what bad stuff happens. And it's... honestly, it's a little worse than I thought.
Yeah, I thought it was just basic mind control. It's like, no, you get injected, and then they tell you to go someplace, and Beast Boy was just strong enough to fight
trafficking.
Yeah.
Well, Matt, thank God there was Deus Ex magic stuff
in his brain.
In his brain that stopped him.
Voiced by Wally West, which was cool to hear that voice again.
And cool seeing them and all the dead characters and the Star Trek jokes where it was
like the Doom Patrol thing is like, that's super funny and crazy dark.
He was like, he's dead, Jim. It's like, yeah, these characters are dead.
Yeah.
And it's not dead, Jim. He says something else, but I don't remember what it is. Also, fun callback that the princess is the one that got the heart transplant from the Wally West episode from season 1. That's the princess.
Deep cut.
Yeah, from
Deep cut.
Not Markovia, because that's where our Geoforce is from. Another one where... No, I think it is because in the first couple episodes of here, we had Count Vertigo, and he's from that country.
Right.
So I think this is another princess from that world. I could be getting a little...
We'll have to look that up. But I do want to go back and rewatch the show.
That is the same character that gets the heart transplant, though.
So something interesting about seeing Beast Boy, because we get to see younger Beast Boy from earlier seasons. It's like, wow, it's crazy how much we've seen this character grow. And I was thinking about the tease a couple weeks ago of Damian Wayne. It's like, if they got more seasons, we could see Dick Grayson become Batman and have, like, we could see some of our original characters. Like, Aquaman's already retired and Calderon's now Aquaman. We could see some of the OG characters die. And in this show, for the most part, dead is dead. Unless you're Halo, dead is dead. Mm-hmm. Blue Beetle's not coming back.
Why not? Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Like, why? I mean,
at this point, I don't think Wally West is going to come back, even though he just got sucked into. Usually, if you get sucked into something, you're going to come back. But
and I think showing that in this episode was like, just so you remember, laying some groundwork. I think he's coming back.
Okay.
I think literally not from anything I've read. It's just when
the
a show.
You got.
It's like when in an episode where it's like weird. In season 3, we're getting this long Black Canary episode that's setting up like, oh, she's an interesting character. Boom. Dead.
Yeah.
You could do the reverse. I'm getting those vibes.
I get it. That makes sense to me. But I thought this was another real winner of an episode.
Also, you get McGonn and Connor being like, yeah, we're engaged. Yeah. I also forgot that the ring looks like, the diamond looks like the Superman diamond.
Nice.
Which is cool. And showing that they're adults and they know that this is like getting crazy and they can admit it to themselves and they can acknowledge it without making anything seem like these people are a burden, even when they kind of are. Yeah. But that some of them are refugees. Like this is like you guys are having a huge responsibility. But at the same time, like they can give time to themselves, and it gives Beast Boy a cool moment where Megan comes in to like try to like save him in his own mind. He's like, no, we kind of already figured it out. But cool that my sister was here.
And a cool reminder of the relationship. And I also like the idea. I like how Connor, especially in Superman's off-world, Connor has kind of grown into the Superman, and it made me really want. I talked a little bit about this too. I think it'd be cool to have a comic where Superman and Lois Lane kind of become the parents to a group of young heroes that aren't Jonathan Kent, just a group of like Teen Titans as heroes because they do such a good job. If they were like adoptive parents to like just a kid team of heroes, the Wonder Twins. I don't fucking know.
Side note, thinking about like the show, how it's pretty permanent with a lot of stuff. I can't believe they haven't fixed Mount Justice because that was such a cool set piece for them.
Yeah.
And it's still background. What is it? It's a crater. It's gone 100%. Calderon did that.
Man, I don't remember that.
He blew it up. Yeah, they put the bomb there, and it was all part of the whole thing. It was crazy. It's one of the episodes where Wally like snaps. It's like, are you out of your mind? How did you know everyone evacuated? You detonated an entire mountain. How did you... In what world did that make any sense? And it was a good episode. Anyways, moving forward, we want to talk about the final episode, True Heroes.
Yes.
And it has our heroes. I'll make sure I read the synopsis so I don't miss anything. But I believe this is when we're getting our heroes infiltrating an auction for enslaved metateens.
Yes. Yes, this was a fun action episode. This was an episode where about halfway through I'm like, cool, and that's it. And I was like, oh, we still got a whole other episode. So they're finally taking Brion. Oh, I forgot to mention earlier on, Brion has been doing what he's been doing the last few episodes and just throwing a fit about everything. And Nightwing's like, hey, are you really worried about your sister, or are you just bummed about what you lost? Because at a certain point, you're gonna have to get past that. I was like, it was written significantly better than that. And it was one of those like, the show's pretty smart. The show's pretty on point with its characterization and the arcs they're taking their characters on, and how to like, instead of just the normal, like a lot of the shows we watch are like drama for drama. And that was a really like, yeah, that's Brion's doing her very human thing, but at some point you gotta get past it.
We have another angry character, and his name's Cyborg. So we're gonna have to.
Yeah, he's gonna be the new angry character.
Yeah, like how Connor had to kind of get his shit together.
Yeah.
And then you could have Brion, but Brion, you're a prince, man. You gotta figure this out.
And now we're finally going to. They take him to save his sister, and we meet Terra, who is very definitely by the end of the episode, it's like, oh, yep, she's definitely Teen Titans Terra. That's definitely who this version is. Hopefully, without some of the ickier aspects. I don't think this show will do that.
Icky. Lots of. If you guys want a not fun, Google Wikipedia search of Terra's history. It's grows with this.
Which, by the way, Brion's got to be 18, right?
Yeah,
I think they're all 16, and so even though he's not going to high school, he's still like 2 years within Halo because they do some kissing, and I don't want to feel weird about that.
Yeah, I'm guessing that he's teen as well.
Cool,
he's
cool.
out. Also, you can't hide him if you went to.
Oh, it's true. He's famous.
Yeah,
he was a prince.
Not even just a prince, but also a prince that got like excommunicated, and he's in exile. It's like, this is some like juicy drama that would be on all the entertainment channels. Yeah. You'd recognize him very quickly.
Yeah.
Even though Bug got a charm, which is cool. I like that aspect.
I also like that it wasn't a tech thing. It was like, hey, we also have magic characters, so here's this.
Don't use your other arms. Only use the top arms.
That was a great joke.
Don't use your other arms. But with this episode, we get to meet the auctioneer, which you did some research on.
Yeah, so Mr. Bliss comes up. I was like, oh, this has to be somebody. This isn't just a dude. And there is a character named Bliss that showed up in the Starman comic for like 5 issues. And I think that's the same character. There's also a Bliss character that ran a circus in a Flash season 0 comic, but I think it's based off that character. So this is him. But we also in this episode we get the Court of Owls. They're not called that, but that was like, man, this show uses everything.
I think they've been teased before, just in the background, and they don't ever say like anything about the court or anything. It's just like
they don't really need to.
They don't need to.
They're just the rich, crazy people auctioning off people. People with powers.
They are scared, and that's shout out to Scott Snyder for making us. I mean, that's Greg Capullo.
Greg Capullo. The design of the Court of Owls. There's a reason that they got so popular so quick because the design is like on point.
It's very scary. It's so scary.
I would love to see them, especially if they stick with older Batman in the movies. Those would be great characters to introduce.
Oh, 100%. But with this, also you meet character from DC, Holocaust, which is I don't know how long he's going to show around.
Yeah, I should pull an asset of that because you get all the muscly enforcer characters, which was great. Also, really love the scene when Connor is fighting Icicle Jr. or whatever, and they're just having a heart-to-heart about while they're fighting.
You stole my girl. It's like, not really, but you did help me kind of get with her. It's like, that's awesome.
Yeah, we're engaged. Oh, and he's genuinely happy for them. I'm like, this makes me happy. This stuff is fun.
I really hope Icicle just gets knocked out and we don't have to bother with him.
Yeah.
Also, Black Lightning got a cool moment. The fact that they make it like actual Black Lightning with a blue hue to it, it looks so cool. And he's like, oh, cool, you can take it. So
I'm just gonna cut loose.
Any time a hero can do that and about anything, it's going to be a cool moment, and it was.
It was so badass. So many cool action. This was a big action episode. This was a big and meanwhile you got Halo confronting Cyborg, which was cool, and her kind of coming into her own and helping them both. I thought was really cool. I thought they might be building to a love triangle between.
I get what you mean,
but I don't think so. Don't.
Yeah. I'm also glad they resolved the whole Father Box could take over at some point.
Yeah,
but
let's get that out of the way.
It could still happen.
Yes,
but it doesn't need to be a regular thing.
Yeah, because don't keep that person around if once a day they become a murder robot.
And if you guys have ever read online the criticism about Cloak and Dagger's relationship over at Marvel, where it's angry black man being healed by this white woman. It's they've always kind of criticized that. The show's Cloak and Dagger's done a good job not doing that.
Yeah.
And for a second I was different but similar vibes. I'm nah, we're gonna move past it.
Yeah.
I didn't get the full vibes, but I was getting a little bit of them. Glad we just scooted right on by. But oh my God, this show's doing so much and it's juggling it all so well.
Yeah.
It makes me so happy. Man, this show's good.
I also like that with Terra being a mole with Deathstroke, I like that the dynamic is significantly different. Like, it's going to hurt a lot more because she's actually family to one of our main characters.
And yeah, we don't have like the relationship with like Beast Boy to really kind of like connect us to her. And in the Teen Titans cartoon, it happens so fast.
Yeah.
Like, not even though I do like that show.
Yeah.
You don't have time to like really sit in it. This though, yeah, you're right. It's gonna sting.
It's gonna sting a little bit, but I really like what they're doing with the show. Now that they've got all the pieces in play, they're able to do stuff like have a Beast Boy episode, and it still clicks in with the rest of the story. It's so. Roxy asked us on a show, like, can you just drop in? It's like, the puzzle on this is so intricate, you really kind of can't.
Yeah, but also good.
Yeah,
they care about the viewers.
So running gag that I hope we get, I talked about how I like in credits is just a thing chilling. I like that we cut back to Lobo's severed digit as it's kind of getting gross, and I'm actually kind of interested. I hope every few episodes we cut back to that just to see what's happening. Like, is it going to grow another Lobo? Like, what's going to happen?
And Wolf did get some action for a second, but Cyborg pretty much laid him out immediately. And I'm like, oh, stop hitting the damn dog.
Don't hit the dog. The dog didn't do anything to you.
But we want to rate this episode. Usually we rate our episodes out of 10. We said this on our show on Patreon, which if you're watching this on YouTube, you're getting this a little later than everybody else. I'd give it a solid 9 out of 10.
All these episodes, 100%. Like, I think my favorite.
Maybe 10 out of 10, man. It's really good.
Yeah, I think my favorites were probably Another Freak and Nightmare Monkeys, but they're all really good episodes. The characterization is really good. You've done a great job of taking characters that I don't care about in the comics and make me really like Halo and Geoforce and Bug. I'm like really invested in their stories, along with the characters checking with the characters we know and love from these shows. And I'm excited to see where you take it because this show has an air of unpredictability that most superhero shows don't have. And also, just as a fanboy, the more of those super deep cuts you can pull, like it just, because why not? Why have a random henchman when it could be so-and-so from this issue of Detective Comics? You know what I mean? Like, it just makes it a really fun experience, and I'm really, I'm very happy the show's back.
Agreed. But gang, let us know what you think in the comments down below, but make sure you also subscribe, hit that bell notification to stay up to date. And again, I probably said hit the like button and comment your thoughts. I like when you do that. But also, we like when you check out our Patreon. You know, you can do it for as low as like $5 a month. That gets you all the audio podcasts. Yeah, we have extra audio podcasts, gang. There's so much. We review comics. We talk about these shows. We do so much more. And you can find that by clicking over here and over here. They're literally there and probably in the description because that is there too. There's a lot of opportunities for you to click on something. But also go to onlystupidanswers.com for the full podcast and more merch and ways to contact us.
Yeah.
But also on Twitter at onlystupidanswers.
You got the vowels from stupid.
But DJ, where can they find you?
At DJ Talks Trash. Thank you for joining us, Sam.
At Sam Basher, everywhere that matters. We'll see you guys next time.
Bye-bye.